Hello friends, in this video I am going to give you a brief understanding of capital budgeting. Topics to be covered in this lecture are capital budgeting, meaning and definition, capital budgeting decision include importance of capital budgeting, problems in capital budgeting, types of investment projects, kinds of investment decision making procedure, conventional and non-conventional cash flows, capital budgeting evaluation techniques, selection of an evaluation technique. So, what do we mean by capital budgeting? See, a person invests money in business only when he sees a profitable opportunity. When he starts a business, he brings a huge amount to invest. Basically, he invests money in two types of investment, that is long term investment and short term investment. Here we are talking about long term investment. When someone has to invest a huge amount in any project, then it will not be a very smart decision to invest the money without any study or without evaluating the project. So, in financing terms, capital budgeting means evaluating projects by using capital budgeting techniques before investing in any project and estimate that what would be the return from the investment over a period of time. These are the definitions given by authors. You can go through with these. Next is capital budgeting decision includes acquisition of long-term assets, modification of existing facilities for the purpose of replacement, incorporation of new technology, manufacturing process improvement, development of new products, or research and development, acquisition of new business. For all of the above, we need a huge amount to invest, and with the help of capital budgeting technique, we analyze the project before investing. Next topic is importance of capital budgeting. First is long-term implications. Once we have invested in any project, then there will be a very long-term impacts of the investment in the business. Fine. Next is involves large amount of funds. Yes, that is for sure. Next, change the risk complexion of the firm. How capital budgeting will change the risk complexion of the firm? See, by using capital budgeting techniques, we can invest in the project which are more profitable and less risky for the firm, so we can reduce the risk of the firm. Fine. Next is irreversible decision. Yes, once we have taken the decision, we can't take back. Next is helps in gaining competitive advantage. What do we mean by capital competitive advantage? Having any advantage which other firm do not have. Fine. If we will use capital budgeting technique correctly, then we will be able to invest in profitable projects and will have competitive advantage over the other. Next is difficult and complex decision. See, capital budgeting techniques are based on present value of cash outflow and present value of cash inflow. Fine. And there are some uncontrollable factors which influence these two. So assuming these two terms become very difficult, that is the reason why it is very difficult and complex decision. Next is problems in capital budgeting. First is risk and uncertainty. See, capital budgeting techniques are related to long-term future period, and as we all know that future is uncertain, that is the reason why capital budgeting is risky and uncertain. Fine. Next is time element. In capital budgeting, cash inflows and outflows occur at different period of time. So it becomes difficult to compare these two. So by using time value of money technique, we convert cash flows in the present value. We are having two techniques in time value of money. First is compounding technique, where we convert present value in the future value, and second is discounting technique, where we convert future value in the present value. Fine. Next is difficult to measure. This I have already discussed in the earlier slide. Fine. So you can see from there. Next is capital rationing. What do we mean by capital rationing? See, we have several projects to invest, and all the projects are profitable, but we are not able to invest in all the projects because of limited fund. Then what we will do? We will do ranking of all the projects and will invest in those projects which are most profitable. So this is called capitalization. Next is types of investment project. First is replacement and modification project. When plant is replaced after completion of its economic life, that will come under replacement decision. And when plant is replaced due to obsolete technology, for example, any new technology has come in market or our technology has become obsolete, then that will come under modification decision. Next is growth and expansion. When we want to expand sales in domestic market or in foreign market, that will come under growth. And when there is an addition to the existing capacity, that will come under expansion. Fine. Next is diversification project. When firm want to enter into new product line or new market, that will come under diversification project. Fine. Next is new project or new firm. This is quite obvious that when we are going to start a new business or new project, then there will be requirement of large amount of fund, so that will come under new project. Fine. Next is mandatory project. Sometimes government impose some legal requirement and make it mandatory to have some facilities in the firm for the safety purpose. For example, having firefighting equipment in the office premises. This will come under mandatory project. Next is kinds of investment decision. First is independent project. Independent project is one whose acceptance or rejection does not affect the acceptance or rejection of other project. For example, Domino's Pizza wants to buy a new shop in new area, and they also want to buy new scooters for all the delivery boys in the city. Both of the decisions are independent because decision of buying new shop will not affect the decision of buying scooty for the delivery boys. Fine. Next is mutually exclusive project. Two projects are said to be mutually exclusive when acceptance of one project rules out or reject the acceptance of other project. For example, a company wants to finalize a site for its plant which is surrounded by greenery. This will outrightly reject the sites not surrounded by greenery. Fine. Next is contingent decision. Contingent project is one whose acceptance depend on the adoption of another project. For example, a bank wants to hire a trainer to train the employees to operate computers, but this decision will depend upon whether bank wants to computerize the branch or not. Fine. Next is capital rationing decision. This I have already discussed earlier. Next topic is that what is the procedure of capital budgeting. Fine. So first is estimation of cost and benefit of an investment proposal. First we need to find the costs and benefit of an investment proposal, then estimation of minimum required rate of return, then we will need to estimate the required rate of return that we are expecting from any proposal. Fine. Next is application of suitable capital budgeting technique, then we will require to apply suitable capital budgeting technique and will find out whether we have to invest in that project or no. Fine. Next topic is conventional and non-conventional cash flows. This topic is important to understand before we move to capital budgeting technique. So first is conventional cash flows. Conventional cash flows are those cash flows in which there is only one cash outflows followed by a number of cash inflows. For example, if we have invested rupees 5 lakh in any project and we are expecting to have a cash inflow of 1 lakh rupees for the next 8 years. So this will come under conventional cash flows. Fine. And in non-conventional cash flows, there may be more than one cash outflow. For example, XYZ Company Limited invested 5 lakh rupees in any machinery and he is required to invest 50,000 in every alternative year. That means in the initial investment he has invested 5 lakh rupees, the next to next year he has to invest 50,000, then next to next year he has to invest 50,000. So this will come under non-conventional cash. Our next topic is capital budgeting evaluation techniques. Capital budgeting evaluation techniques are divided basically in two parts: traditional and time adjusted or discounted cash flow. Traditional method is further divided in two parts, that is payback period and accounting rate of return, and discounted cash flows are divided in four parts. First is net present value, then profitability index, then internal rate of return, and final is discounted payback period. Let us learn about these techniques one by one. So let us learn about traditional technique. First is payback period. Payback period is the length of time required to recover the initial investment. For example, if we have invested 5 lakh rupees in any project, then we are required to calculate that at what time this 5 lakh rupees will be recovered from the investment. Fine. So there are two situations in which we can calculate payback period. First is when equal cash inflows are generated every year. Fine. So how we will calculate payback period? Payback period is equal to initial investment divided by annual cash inflow. Fine. Then second situation is when we have unequal cash inflows. For understanding this situation, I have quoted an example. Here you can see that there is an investment of 4,000. In the first year, we have cash inflow of 500. In the second year, we have 1,500. In the third year, we have 2,500. In the fourth year, we have 4,000. So, how we will calculate payback period in this method? We have a formula. Payback period is equal to P plus B upon C. What are P, B, and C? P is equal to number of years immediately preceding the year of final recovery. B is balance amount to be recovered in the year of final recovery, and C is cash inflows in the year of final recovery. Now, what is final recovery? In the first 2 years, we have recovered 2,000 out of 4,000. Fine. What is the balance amount to be recovered is 2,000, which we are recovering in the third year. So third year will be the year of final recovery, but in the third year we are recovering 2,500. That means 2,000 are of initial investment and 500 are extra. Now put the values in the formula. P is equal to number of years immediately preceding the year of final recovery, that is that means number of years before third year, that is 2 years. Fine. B is equal to balance amount to be recovered in the year of final recovery. As we know that we need to recover 2,000 as the balance amount, so B is equal to 2,000. C is equal to cash inflow in the year of final recovery, that is 2,500. Put these all values in the formula and we will have our required payback period, that is 2.8 years in this example. Next is advantages and disadvantages of payback period. So what are the advantages? First is easy to calculate and simple to follow. Next is this method reduces the loss due to obsolescence. What does that mean? According to this technique, we invest in project having minimum payback period. So when our initial investment will be recovered earlier, then there will be less chances of losses. Fine. Next is this method helps the management in deciding dividend payment. Dividend is distributed when we start getting the profit, and with the help of payback period technique, company will get to know that at what time they will start getting the profit, so they can plan for the dividend distribution decision. Fine. Next is best suited when there is political instability or rapid change in technology. Yes, when there is rapid change and political instability, then everyone would like to have earlier recovery of initial investment. That is the reason. So next is disadvantages. Ignore cash flow after payback period. So this method does not consider cash flow after payback period. Fine. Next is ignores time value of money. This does not consider time value of money. Next is ignores the total economic life, salvage value or terminal cash inflows. Next is unable to judge projects with multiple cash outflows. That means this method unable to judge non-conventional cash flows. Next technique is accounting rate of return. This technique is based on accounting profit, not on cash flows. Fine. There are two situations in which we can calculate ARR. First is when the profit after tax to be earned every year are equal. So ARR will be annual profit after tax divided by average investment in the project into 100. Fine. And next is when the profit after tax to be earned during year are different. Then ARR will be average annual profit after tax divided by average investment in the project into 100. Is advantages and disadvantages of accounting rate of return. First is advantages. It is simple to understand, calculate and use. Next is accounting data used for estimation of ARR can be easily calculated. Next is it considers all the benefits arising over the whole life of the project. In the payback period we have seen the that cash flows after the payback period was ignored, but in this method it considers all the benefits or all the cash flows. Next is this method takes into account net income concept, which is not used under any other technique. Fine. Disadvantages are accounting profit is not a very sound technique to evaluate the capital budgeting project, as cash flow is a superior measure. In financial management, it is considered that cash flow is the superior measure. We don't give preference to accounting profit because accounting profits have its own disadvantages. This is the disadvantage of ARR, that it is based on accounting profit, not on cash flow. Fine. Next is does not take into account time value of money. Next is does not consider the salvage value. Next is ARR method treats the project with large investment and project with smaller at par in terms of ARR. The project with large investment generates more income in absolute terms. That means when there will be different in scale of investment, then it would be difficult to compare the two projects, because large investment will have larger higher ARR and small investment will have smaller ARR. Now we are moving to discounted cash flow technique. First is net present value method. Net present value is the difference between present value of cash inflow and present value of cash outflow. Formula for calculating NPV is present value of cash inflow minus present value of cash outflow. Fine. If there are more than one cash outflow or cash outflow occur at different period of time, then Formula for calculating NPV will be total present value of cash inflow minus total present value of cash out. Next is advantages and disadvantages of NPV. Advantages are recognizes time value of money based on cash flow rather than accounting profit, considers cash flow of the project. Next is risk and uncertainty attached to project is adjusted through discount rate. Next is consistent with overall objective of wealth maximization. Next, disadvantages are NPV method is based on discount factor, which is difficult to calculate because if K is not calculated correctly, then evaluation of the project will go wrong. Next technique is profitability index method. This method is variation of NPV. The only difference between NPV and PI is that NPV is calculated in absolute term and PI is calculated in relative terms. PI is also known as benefit cost ratio, and formula for calculating PI is total present value of cash inflows divided by total present value of cash outflows. Fine. Advantages and disadvantages of PI are same as that of NPV because we have used the same data. However, being a relative measure, it is a superior method than that of NPV for calculating those projects having different initial investment. Next technique is internal rate of return. Internal rate of return is defined as the discount rate which equates present value of cash inflows and present value of cash outflows. This method is also known as yield on investment, marginal efficiency of capital, rate of return, time adjusted rate of return. Mathematical equation of IRR is present value of cash inflows is equal to present value of cash outflows. Advantages and disadvantages of IAR. Advantages are based on time value of money, based on cash flow rather than accounting profit. Next is all the investment would yield more than the required rate of return because a project is qualified if IRR is more than the required rate of return. Fine. Next is consistent with overall objective of wealth maximization. How? Because all the investment would yield more than the required rate of return. That means this will be an addition to the wealth maximization and hence will increase the value of the firm. Fine. Now disadvantages. First is difficult to calculate. Next, in non-conventional cash flows, there may be multiple IR. That means in non-conventional cash flows, there may be more than one IR. That may be quite confusing. Next is IR method assumes that internal cash inflows are reinvested at internal rate of return, but that cannot be possible because investment opportunity and rate of return may be different from time to time. The next and last technique is discounted payback period. Discounted payback period is same as payback period. The only difference in discounting payback period is that in discounted payback period we have used present value of cash inflows and present value of cash outflows instead of using cash flows. So this method enjoys all the merits of a payback period as well as that of time value of money. Our last topic is selection of an evaluation technique. After going through the detailed analysis of different methods, it can be concluded that NPV, IRR, and PI are the most appropriate techniques. However, it is always advisable that a finance manager should evaluate investment proposal on more than one criteria before making a final choice.